channel. Welcome back to another video. This time we're doing What's in the Box. Doing it by myself here with my guest star, my cat. Trying a different spot, doing this in a different thing, changing it up. I'm sitting on the floor with the box beside me here. And again, if you haven't seen all my other videos before, look up to see myself on the screen there. The usual, just to make sure everything's in picture, not showing the wrong things. You may occasionally see a cat hop up on me, so helpful distraction. If you want to make the cat happy, feel free to like or subscribe if you're worth it. So for those who may not know this channel, this is a channel where I just do things for shits and giggles. I do it for fun. No real sort of professional sort of work is put into this. It's just fun sort of, doing things for fun. Yeah. Twitch, I guess this can be a bit of an update. Hi, kitty. Hopefully on weekends, just going through stuff where I'm painting up models, building things, using my cameras. Hopefully someday I'll save up for a better camera depending on how life situation goes. Other things like that. And yeah, hopefully we can get back to the normal here in the future. I'll be back where I was. I'll be more able to do things like this again, but I will pull from the pile. I already predetermined from this. I pulled up 3 things, just like how you saw the last few with Mitch there. So thank you again, Mitch, for joining me on that and coming over, checking up on me. We definitely got to hook it back up again, do some stuff, to do some videos together again, maybe some painting streams, gameplay, especially when Dark Tide comes out. Which, if you guys are excited for Dark Tide, put yourselves down below. What are you going to play? What your race? Did Cadia fall before the guard did, or did the guard fall before Cadia? Let's see who's loyalist, who's traitor. So starting with loyalists and traitors, I'm going to quickly remove here for the video. So here we have the for the Italians for bolt action. The main game I really love. If you guys check out my channel, I have my armies up there. I'm working on a conflict army, an allied, and an axis force. So if you guys want to see that, go ahead, check out the playlists. They'll be down below. But here we have, with new boxes coming out in plastic, which I was unable to get, but these still hold up. Especially if you can get them for the older prices before your local stores, adjust pricing due to, your current situation for where you live in the world. So we have, here is I made space for this. The Italian bersaglieri. Forgive me if I butcher the name. I know it's actually said slightly different, I believe. But we have these boyos right here. These are Italy's finest men. The guys who impressed the Germans, which impressed the world. I believe there's an actual quote on here. The German soldier has impressed the world. However, the Italian bersaglieri soldier has impressed the German soldier. So these guys, what their gimmick was they were raised in an area where cavalry could have been key back in World War I, but due to lack of resources in the sort of location setting, they didn't have horses. So what they did was they got the most fittest men of the war, and they basically just drilled them to run full bore with their gear to basically act as cavalrymen without horses. And these guys, still to the day, you can see videos of it. They parade around Italy during their training in the classic, the feathered hat uniform, running through the cobblestone streets of Italy in some parts. I know nowadays they probably have more paved roads, but... So, in this box, as we look here on the back, this is again, the metal box, so it comes with 20 dudes instead of 30 plastic. But it does give you some neato options. So you get officer and 2 dudes, which I'll just turn them into NCOs because you only need 1 because small team. You get 12 dudes with their weapon descriptions right here. You get a medium mortar machine gun team and a light mortar team. So basically, if you wanted to play Italians back in the day, you would get this box and it would give you at least a starting force. Then you could grab another blister of just 10 men from the shelf, and you could have your bersaglieri army. The nice thing is, for the most part, the mortars, weapon teams, stuff like that, machine gun teams, they don't really change in special rules, just in looks. But because these guys are like your paratrooper, your SAS, your special faction unit. They'll gain the, especially if you take the theater selectors that make all your dudes bersaglieri, they'll probably get stuff like stubborn and fearless, stuff like that. So as we open up the box here, we have a piece of cardboard in the middle there. We have it looks like the models up here, some down here, and there is a sheet of sprues in here. So opening this up, here we go. You see, yeah, it's pancaked in there. So we have our first sprue here, which houses, it looks like, our basic riflemen and some loaders. Our basic riflemen. Then we have our second sprue, which houses our mortar team and machine gun teams and officers. Then, of course, we have our sprues of the circle bases. So with that, guys, bersaglieri metal box here by Warlord Games. Comes with 20 models that give you everything you need to make the first half of your army if you want to go these guys. Again, your better value now is to buy the plastics, and if you wanted the teams and an officer and some extra dudes that look cool and different, grab one of these on the side with that plastic box and you'll have an entire bersaglieri faction section. Hey guys, thank you for joining me for the end of the video here, looking at the bersaglieri. Sorry if I butcher that again. Here's just some of the models. So the box gives you, basically, if you use all of it as it describes, gives you 2 units of 6 infantrymen, giving you 1 light loader, or LMG and loader models, plus your rifle dudes and your NCO of the group. One throwing a cool, like, their Campbell soup can of death that they made. And then 2 dudes to go with your HQ here. So basically, it was basically, if you bought this before they had the start collecting boxes that they made for them, you would buy this bersaglieri box set plus your tank, and that would be your army to start. Or you could buy you'd buy your black shirt / army dudes box, because that would be your basic infantry. And then you'd buy this box to the side, and bam, that was your army. Or vice versa. I think they made boxes like this for both to start, because they were kind of like, yeah, everybody who plays Germans will want to throw a unit or a little platoon of these guys onto your side for your desert warfare stuff, because you can't do the Africa campaign or invasion of Italy without Italians. That's just not a thing. You need to have them there because they were there and that was their home. Talk to you, Relic. So yeah, so we're gonna go over these and take a look. I know it's kind of a little bit fuzzy right here. The white primer is messing with my camera's focus and lighting. So this is the new Corvus spray from Games Workshop, the one that can be used with contrast paints. Also with the Army Painter speed paint absorbs really well. Though Army Painter speed paint actually works really well on this Vallejo primer too. So it's great. As long as it's light, it's a light base color, the speed paint will work on it fantastically. It'll just slightly change the hue a bit, but you can do some cool stuff with that. So going over it, we have the MMG team that you get it with it. It is a 3-man team. I just like to use the third dude that comes with it, because usually it's just some dude pointing or with binoculars. I like to use them as NCOs for units. Or if they have the glasses, I use them as spotters for my howitzers and stuff. So these guys are primed in that desert camo yellow like you've seen in other models I've done, and maybe the Semivente box if I get that out before this one. If not, you'll see it in there. But I primed it with that because the gun mount and all the pits and the cases and stuff would be this color. Whereas the uniforms are more of like a grayish, greenish, or even like beigey, what's the word? Like potato sack color. We have our light mortar team that comes on 2 bases. I like to trim the edges off here and then glue them together. That way you get like a kind of coolish thing. For the for the American Airborne, especially get them as metal. Their loaders want you to kind of have them on the same base, but they only give you these. And that's a great way to do it. But yeah, you get your light mortars. Light mortars, in my opinion, are very underrated. Though it is fair that they're underrated because for a little bit more, I think only like 2 more points, you get a medium mortar. The shots hit bigger. You can get a spotter. Usually you're not going to be moving them in that case. The advantage that a light mortar get, and it takes up the same slot. Where a light mortar makes sense to me is, especially on these early war games, is because these things you don't get a spotter, but they can move. They can move and shoot at the same time that they do. You can move and shoot with these things, and yeah. Uh, so we have those guys. Here we have your lieutenant. Again, you can change his head out with either the desert helmet or the normal helmet when they're in Italy. You can also give him beard, give him goggles, what have you. Pretty decent. I like him. Here we have one of his furthermen. Still needs a little bit more primer on him. I just didn't fully get, hit him with the right angles. But he has his Beretta machine gun SMG, his bag, and then we have some riflemen. These rifles bend very easily. It was very pain in the butt to fix, so I just let some thin super glue run down the rifle and hit it with a quick dryer. Once it coated the whole model, that way it gives it more strength and makes it a little bit thicker. Here's their light machine gun. And here you go, you can see this guy has the, come on. This guy has the metal helmet. So they give you enough helmets to do both, plus a little bit more. Here's one of the chaps with the mustaches. These heads were some of the most painful heads I ever cut off sprues. They were not done well, in my opinion. Like, the faces themselves and the helmets were done well. But how they're on the sprue, like on the little metal gate that holds them, it was a pain. Half the faces I cut off, especially these mustache ones, the lower jaw would get cut off with the bit that holds it. So, be careful when you do that. You definitely want some really good skill. Like, these faces, also a lot of cleanup even after bringing them out. And here's the other loader. I like these sort of carrying. I wish they would do more of these sort of poses with the carrying. That's kind of cool. I like that. With that, guys, that was a quick look here at the bersaglieri, the light infantrymen of elite light infantrymen of the Italians. They're kind of cool to read up about. I'd highly recommend reading them. They were infantry division brought in during their civil war and stuff during Italy and things. A poorer sort of part of their kingdom couldn't afford cavalry during the times of the Napoleonic era stuff. So what they did was they got a bunch of really strong dudes who were fit, and plus had really good rifle skills. So each one of these guys were the equivalent of a marksman, of a scout division, snipers, stuff like that. They were the best marksmen in the Italian army overall. Not like there's probably dudes who are better, but those that's only one dude. This was a whole section of the military that was on par with marksmen. So you had really fast moving dudes who are running everywhere and could shoot, run, stop, 1 second aim, and then pow. So these were the Iron Men of war. Highly recommend picking up these guys, especially picking up the plastic box, because that's really good value. Instead of paying $70 for this box set, you're only paying about, depending on where you live, this was like 58 something before tax, and you're basically $20 for these, another like 25 for this. So basically, you get a your support section that is like a $50 box, and then you basically get for $8 two boxes of 10-man bersaglieri. So basically, again, an army box, but in the plastic kit, you're paying about $60 to $70, depending on where you go and if they MSRP and stuff. But you're getting 30 dudes that can make, I think there's a light mortar plastic kit in there, but I could be wrong, but you'll definitely get to make your infantrymen, your HQ, your medics, your snipers. All that stuff will be in there, and they'll be cool, awesome running poses that'll be easy to glue straight to the base and not worry about them falling off. So with that, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to go paint these dudes up. I'm going to have some fun with them, get them ready for Ryan to use. And we will see you guys in the next video here. Bye-bye.